The morning was quiet in the small town of Willowbend, where the smell of freshly brewed coffee drifted from the corner cafe and the sound of bicycle wheels echoed on the cobblestone streets. Among the early risers was Emma Turner, a young nurse who worked the night shift at St. Mary's Hospital. Her tired eyes told stories of long nights and heavy hearts, but her smile, soft and sincere, never seemed to fade. As she walked home that morning, Emma stopped at the small bakery near the square. She ordered her usual, a cup of black coffee and a cinnamon roll. Behind the counter was Mr. Dawson, the elderly baker whose hands shook slightly when he handed her the paper cup. "You're up early again," he said, his wrinkled face brightened by a gentle grin. "Or still awake," Emma replied, laughing softly. She reached into her purse to pay, but Mr. Dawson waved her off. "You've done enough for this town, Emma. It's on the house." She shook her head. "You know I can't keep letting you do that." "Then think of it as my way of saying thank you," he insisted. "For the kindness you gave my wife when she was in the hospital." Emma smiled, remembering Mrs. Dawson's final days. The old woman had been frail but cheerful, always asking Emma about her dreams and hobbies. "She was a lovely woman," Emma said. "I just did my job." Mr. Dawson's eyes glistened. "Sometimes doing your job is the kindest thing of all." Emma took her coffee and stepped out into the cool morning air, unaware that her small acts of kindness were about to travel farther than she could imagine, coming back to her in ways she'd never expect. Later that day, a man named Ben Miller walked into Mr. Dawson's bakery. He looked like he had seen better days, his clothes were worn, his eyes sunken, and a tattered backpack hung from his shoulder. He stood near the counter, hesitant. Mr. Dawson glanced up. "Morning, son. What can I get you?" Ben's lips parted, but no words came. After a moment, he murmured, "Just a glass of water, please." The baker nodded and handed him a glass, but as he did, he saw something in the man's expression, a quiet desperation. Without a word, Mr. Dawson wrapped a warm loaf of bread and slid it across the counter. Ben blinked. I can't pay for that." "Then don't," Mr. Dawson said. "Just promise me you'll pass kindness on when you can." Ben hesitated, then accepted the bread. "I will," he whispered, his voice trembling. That evening, Ben found a park bench under a flickering street lamp. He tore off a piece of bread and ate slowly, savoring each bite. Around him, the world moved briskly, people on their way home, couples laughing, cars humming down the road, but for the first time in days, he felt something other than hunger. He felt seen. A few moments later, a boy of about 10 walked by with a paper bag clutched to his chest. He stumbled, and the bag fell, spilling groceries onto the pavement. Ben immediately stood up to help him gather everything. "Thanks, mister," the boy said shyly. "My mom's gonna kill me if I drop these again." Ben smiled faintly. "Don't worry, you'll get them home safe." The boy grinned. "You hungry? We got extra apples." Ben was about to refuse, but the boy insisted and handed him one before running off. The sweetness of the apple mixed with the warmth of the bread, and for a fleeting moment, life didn't feel so heavy. The next morning, the boy, whose name was Ethan, handed the empty grocery bag to his mother, Lily. "There was a man at the park last night," he told her. "He helped me pick up the groceries. He looked sad, so I gave him an apple." Lily smiled gently. "That was very kind of you." Ethan shrugged. "He was kind first." Lily tousled his hair, not realizing how that simple exchange would ripple through her day. That afternoon, Lily was rushing through traffic to get to work. She worked at a local insurance office, and her boss was not known for patience. But just as she turned onto Elm Street, she saw an older woman standing by her car, staring helplessly at a flat tire. Lily hesitated, she was already late, but something about the woman's frail posture made her pull over. "Do you need some help, ma'am?" Lily asked, stepping out. The woman sighed in relief. "Oh, dear, I don't know what to do. I was visiting my daughter, and now this happens." Lily rolled up her sleeves. "Don't worry, I can change a tire." It took about 15 minutes, and her hands were covered in grease, but when she was done, the woman looked at her with gratitude that words couldn't hold. "Thank you, sweetheart," she said, her voice trembling. "You remind me of someone my daughter once told me about, a nurse who took care of her when she had pneumonia." Lily laughed. The world's full of good nurses. The woman nodded thoughtfully. Yes, and maybe you're one of them, just not in a hospital. When Lily finally reached work, she was scolded for being late, but she didn't care. She felt light, as if she had done something that truly mattered. That evening, the woman she'd helped, whose name was Margaret, went to visit her daughter, who lived in a small apartment near the river. Her daughter had been struggling after losing her job and was feeling hopeless. Margaret arrived with groceries, a hug, and a story. You wouldn't believe it, she said. A stranger stopped to help me with a flat tire today. Just when I was thinking the world had forgotten kindness. Her daughter, Anna, smiled faintly. Maybe kindness just takes the long way around. That night, Anna went out for a walk to clear her mind. She wandered down the same cobblestone streets Emma had walked earlier that week. Passing by the small hospital, she noticed a young woman sitting on the steps, wearing scrubs and looking utterly exhausted. Rough day? Anna asked gently. The nurse looked up. It was Emma. You could say that, she sighed. Some nights feel endless. Anna sat beside her. My mom says when the world feels heavy, it's because you're carrying someone else's light. Emma looked at her, surprised. That's beautiful. She told me a stranger said that to her once, Anna replied. Seems like something worth passing on. Emma smiled, warmth returning to her tired face. It is. They talked for a few minutes before parting ways, and Emma walked home feeling lighter, unaware that she had just met the daughter of the woman Lily helped that afternoon, and that the kindness she had sown months ago in the hospital had already begun to circle back. A week later, the hospital was busier than ever. One night, an emergency call came in, an accident on the highway. Among the injured was a young woman, barely conscious, and a boy holding her hand tightly, crying. When they arrived at St. Mary's, Emma recognized them immediately, Lily and her son Ethan. She had seen them in town before, but never like this. She took Ethan's trembling hand. It's okay, she said softly. We'll take good care of your mom. Hours passed, and surgery was successful. When Lily woke up, the first thing she saw was Emma's face. You're the nurse, she murmured weakly. Yes, Emma said, smiling. You're safe now. Over the next few days, Emma checked on Lily every shift. She brought Ethan snacks and let him sit by his mother's side. When Lily was finally discharged, she hugged Emma tightly. I don't know how to thank you, Lily whispered. You already did, Emma replied with a smile. You just don't know it yet. Weeks later, Emma walked back into Mr. Dawson's bakery. He looked up with a bright grin. Back for your cinnamon roll. Always, she laughed. As she waited, the door opened, and Ben, the homeless man, walked in again. But this time, he looked different. Clean clothes, trimmed hair, a spark in his eyes. Ben. Mr. Dawson exclaimed. You're looking well. Ben smiled. Got a job at the community center. Turns out they needed someone to help with maintenance. Guess kindness really does come around. Emma turned toward him, curious. You're the men from the park, aren't you? The one who helped that little boy. Ben blinked. You know Ethan. Emma nodded, smiling. He's doing fine. His mom too. For a moment, the three of them stood there, Emma, Ben, and Mr. Dawson, each realizing that their small acts of kindness had woven together into something far greater than themselves. Later that afternoon, Emma left the bakery with her coffee, walking past the same park bench where Ben once sat hungry and alone. Now, a young girl was sitting there, crying quietly over a broken toy. Emma stopped, knelt down, and handed her the cinnamon roll. Here, she said gently. Sweet things make sad days a little better. The girl sniffled, then smiled. Thank you. As Emma walked away, she felt something warm settle in her heart. She thought of all the people whose lives had brushed against hers, the baker, the stranger, the mother, the boy, and she realized that kindness was never lost. It simply traveled, changing hands, changing hearts, and someday, finding its way home again. And somewhere in the quiet streets of Willowbend, that truth lingered in the air like a promise, that even the smallest act of goodness could come full circle, returning to the giver in ways unseen but deeply felt.